Welcome to day 2 of our 12 Days of Christmas series. Today, I want to tell you the 2 things that every successful CEO knows. And here's the kicker. I've recently realized you gotta have both of them. It's a non-negotiable. There's a reason there's only 2 answers here because you need both of them. So without further ado, what are those 2 things that every successful CEO knows? It's this. Number 1, where they are headed and why. And number 2, realistically, where are they starting from? That's it. I just described a board game to you, right? I described a movie, and the main character in the movie, they may not know the end destination, but they have a direction they are headed, and they have a purpose and clarity, and everyone follows when they have that clarity. So let's talk about why those 2 things are so important. Number 1, if you don't know where you're headed and why should people follow you? And people being your team, people being potential customers, people being people trying to refer you business. If you don't have a clear path forward, and by the way, it can change, it can evolve, it can pivot, it can adapt. But if you don't have that core internal compass guiding you and therefore your business in a specific direction, you're going to wake up one day and realize that business has just been happening to you, not the other way around. And it's really difficult to know and celebrate and acknowledge if you've ever accomplished that end destination if you don't first define what it is. So a couple of tools just to help you get clarity around that. If you're listening to this episode and you're like, well, I feel called out, don't worry, we can solve for this. This is something I encourage all of my clients to do before we do any other work. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to carve out some time to really ask yourself the deeper questions of, why do you do what you do? Why are you in the industry that you're in? What does success mean to you in this chapter of life? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you know once you've achieved it? Is it a specific dollar account in the bank? Obviously, that can't be the only version of success we measure. It also can't just be vibes. It can't be feelings. It can't be fluffy stuff. We have to be specific. So ask yourself, why do you do what you do? What does success look like? What does it feel like? How do you know once you've achieved success? What is for you and not for you? Back to that direction piece. Entrepreneurship is this endless possibility of so many different things. And if you don't sit and define what path is for you and not, you can easily get distracted or be influenced by other people who think you should do this when in your heart of hearts, you know you should do this. And if you don't pause and define what that is for you, you are so easily swayed by the community, by your friends, people who have good intentions. But there's no one way to do business. And this is your reminder of that. Like, this is your gig. So I encourage you, pause and really get clear. Where are you headed and why? Is it to be better? What does better mean? Why better? Why is that important? Why is that the thing? Is it to be ranked number 1 on Google? Be the best. Okay, what does the best mean? Ranking on Google. Maybe it means top listing on local newspapers. Maybe it's getting on TV, that validation. Like, why though? Like, why is that the thing for you? And if you can't articulate that to me, you and me right now, how the heck is your team supposed to understand? How do your clients understand? And how can people refer business to you if you don't know where you're headed and why? If where you're headed is different than what your business looks like today, and you aren't clear on that, and you're not articulating that to other people around you, you may be missing out on opportunities that could support that future vision of you. To bring you back in time, I used to have a hair salon, and I knew for a long time while I was still doing hair that I wanted to do coaching. I had to start talking the talk, walking the walk, and speaking about coaching even before I was fully in it, because that was the only way out. Everyone had known me as Kelsey the hair person, right? And if I didn't re-educate them, if I didn't talk about business and strategy and KPIs and systems and automations and teams, I would have never got out of that. I would have been pigeonholed to Kelsey the hair person. And now I bet if you were to DM any of my Instagram people, a small handful would know that version of me or may know the story just because I tell it here, but majority of people would associate Kelsey business, and I would argue get shit done. And that's intentional. That's me being clear. And then once I'm clear, I can then communicate. So the second thing I mentioned that is so crucial in the yin and yang, you need both of these to be successful, I'm convinced, is you need to be really honest and clear on where you're starting at. You need to know your starting place. You need to know what revenue is coming in, but not only what money is coming in the door, what money is going out. How efficient are you? How efficient is your team? Are they accomplishing your core values? Or do you have listen to this. Do you have team members who are kind of annoying you a little bit and they keep doing a quote unquote good job, but it's not as fast as you would like, or they don't quite answer the email the way that you would. So you just kind of, it's okay, I'll do that. It's okay, I'll take that back. It's okay. And I call that boomerang leadership. And I think a lot of that stems from we're not clear on where we're headed and why. And we're not acknowledging that it's not that one-off email that's the problem. There's a deeper rooted core issue in our current situation that needs our attention. And if there's that disconnect, if you have high expectations for your team members and you're clear on where you're headed and why, and you can articulate that to your team, but that's not how they're currently showing up, that's not what they're currently doing on behalf of your company, guess what? Now we know exactly what we need to focus on to get from A to B. The other reason you need to know where you're starting is you need to know and be able to prioritize what to tackle first. I cannot tell you how many people come to me because they need quote unquote social media help. And we peel back the layers like an onion. And when we get to the very root of it, I would say 9 times out of 10, it has something to do with they have offers they don't believe wholeheartedly in. They don't have systems and processes to be able to support increased demand. They don't know how to run the business. And so they get overwhelmed with those tasks. And it's so much easier and shiny and more fun to blame Instagram or TikTok algorithms than it is to peel back the layers and address what is really going on, which is not the sexy work, but the necessary work. So I'm going to end this episode with this. If you don't know these two things that if you don't know the answer to these two questions, you have a great opportunity to pause today and reflect on these two answers. Number 1, where are you headed and why? And number 2, what is your accurate, honest, truthful starting place as a business owner? What's working well? What needs improvement? What's a little bit messy? What's something you don't understand? And then once you know those two things, you know exactly what next steps or support you need in executing to get from A to B. You need both of them. So thank you so much for day 2. I'm going to catch you tomorrow on day number 3. Oh, and before I forget, we're running a contest over here on YouTube. All you have to do to enter is make sure you subscribe to my channel at Kelsey Marie Knutson, comment on all of these 12 days of Christmas videos on YouTube, and also feel free to comment on any of the December reels that you see posted throughout the month. We're going to put everyone's name in a drawing and select that winner in the new year after the 12 days of Christmas wraps up. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But I just want to remind you, if you win, you have an opportunity to do some 2025 planning with me, a business coach, and you get to come guest on the Get Shit Done podcast in 2025. So lots to look forward to. Thanks for being here. Hope to see your name entered into the drawing and can't wait to catch you in the next one.